Still the same thing. Can you mute it? Right. Some water. Tony, if I was good looking as you, man, I'd be a double-digit millionaire.
Which Tony are you talking to? The other one?
Both of you.
Good answer.
I was
Good
talking
answer.
I was talking to Tony Bass, but we can say we can say we're talking to you too, Tony Richards.
You know though, Coach, I agree with you.
That's a good compliment. We just finished a 13-hour drive, so.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we're in California now, so we had to race in and get the computer set up real quick.
Yeah. Well, you both look good.
Thanks. We'll pass out after the call.
Well, I got a funny story. I got a funny story for you. I went to dinner with my wife and my daughter, my 8-year-old daughter. We're down at our house in Seaside, Florida. And it's about 10 to 15 minute walk into town from where our house is. And it's conveniently located at Seaside, but it's right up from the ocean. And then but anyway, it took them a while to get our food. And so I'm sitting there, and it's like 7:30. And I'm like, look, if the food's not here by 7:40, I got to walk back to the house because I got something to do at 8. 7:38, food's not here. And I'm like, just box up my food and bring it to the house, right? You guys stay here and have dinner because I got to do this thing at 8 o'clock. So I'm just walk on back to the house, folks.
I'm happy you made it.
Yep. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny because the 4:30 call, we had to stop. We were heading into the mountains, so we had to pull over. We found a convenient spot. We caught almost the whole call.
Oh, nice.
Worked out pretty good. Yes. Yeah.
That's commitment, man. That's commitment.
Got to do what we got to do.
Hello, Coach.
How you doing there?
I'm good. Good. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Good to see you.
Awesome.
We're the reverse of Tony Richards. Huh?
That's right. That's right. We're the mirror image of
Exactly.
each other. You know that?
Very cool. Very cool.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's right. That's good. It took me a second to get that. I didn't even get it.
I know. I look at you and it's like looking in a mirror with us, you know?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I like it.
That's too funny.
Okay.
All right, folks, I got 8:01 p.m. So good to see everybody tonight. I hope you're doing great. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to cover with you tonight. And before I get started, I'm going to ask you, for something. And what I'd like to ask you, that way I can make some notes here, is if you have a greedy question that you want to ask me. Okay. I talked to Amy today, and Amy had some good points when I was talking to her. If there's something you want to know or that you're struggling with, because what I'm doing is coaching you through a system. Make sure you don't leave the call. If you have I call it a greedy question. It's a question for you. But here's the funny thing. You may have a question, and it's the exact same question that other people are struggling with. And that's really, when I go to my mentors, I've got greedy questions. They're specific to me. It's like, hey, I'm struggling with how to do this, how to put this together. And that's really the kind of the concept of being mentored by someone is, you may be struggling on the EOS. You may be struggling with how to package your special. You may be struggling with how do I monetize. You may be struggling with transition over. Folks, trust me, when you've been coaching as long as I have, we're all struggling with something. My wife was struggling tonight because she runs the health division, and she's also managing, 5-month-old son. And she's like, I literally just don't know how to get my prospecting in. Like I'm trying to, manage 2 kids. I'm trying to prospect. Doug Wood is on me, coaching me, saying, look, you need to be doing this. She's like, I totally agree with him, but I'm just really struggling on when do I get this stuff in? When do I get the prospecting in and raise a 5-month-old son, which I get it, it's kind of a tough spot for me to be in. So I just kind of smile and go, because the hardcore coach in me is like, look, you got to get it in. Okay. If you're going to do it, you got to get it in, man. You got to find a way to prospect every day. But sometimes I just smile and say, I understand, so anybody have any greedy questions you want to start? Because tonight we're talking about the follow-up. And if you do, I'd like to go ahead and get those on the table so I can address them, make sure I get them in tonight. The greedy questions, I'm going to ask you about your prey drive, explanation of service, monetization attack, and then we're going to cover some follow-up. How do you follow up appropriately like you should? Okay, go ahead, Tony.
We're kind of wondering, and we had this discussion after the call earlier. It got partially heated, I think, a debate. How do you get to the point where you can get somebody who's a gatekeeper? We do taxes and tax resolution, and we have a lot of sensitive information. Scared, maybe not at a place where we can financially hire somebody full time, but kind of scared to trust anybody with the information that we have. And you have anything else to add?
Yeah, and part of that, like he said, since we don't have the gatekeeper, obviously we're trying to build this whole person of interest. So in a way, I mean, it's good because we have a lot of people calling on us and looking for our services, but then it's bad because I feel like sometimes, you tell us, okay, we need to monetize that. But I feel like they're taking advantage of, being able to call us and asking questions. So how do we get to the point where it's like, okay, you can't be just calling me every 5 minutes, to get an answer.
Yeah, too much free information.
Right. But then not offending them, because we've kind of done that to ourselves because trying to become that person of interest. So how do we kind of go back without killing the client?
Okay. Here's an interesting thing. I totally agree with you. I have levels, and if you don't have levels, and if you don't have boundaries, then people will, man, they'll take whatever you give them. I mean, they'll take your whole life. I mean, I have people text me at 4:30 in the morning, 12 o'clock midnight on Saturday night, 7 o'clock on Sunday morning. I mean, there really is no boundaries to some people. And if you don't set those boundaries, then they will continue to just say, man, they'll just take whatever they can get. And I think what I've done, and I actually saw an accountant do this, and he could, if he would have had his infrastructure in place, he could have done a better job. He created these levels of access. And just like me, he came into our coaching program and he basically said, I'm going to create levels. At this level, this price point, you get this. At this price point, you get this. And then you get up to a club level where you can just call me anytime you have access to me, but you're really paying for that access. And I kind of do the same thing. I mean, I don't do a lot of one-to-one available at, at the basic level of monster producer. But the people who pay more money get more access. Now, ideally, you want to structure it. It's what I was talking about today, in a way that you enjoy. So no matter how much a person pays, you know, you get to the point, it's like, man, you got to have some boundaries at some point where they just can call you 24 hours a day, no matter how much money they're paying. Right. Because I've gotten into that with people that are compensate me at $100,000 or more. You know, they just felt like they could call me anytime, show up anytime, be involved anytime. And that's no fun either. So I think the gatekeeper is there to buffer access to you. But is the gatekeeper just an assistant? Is the gatekeeper an extension of you? Can the gatekeeper solve problems for you? You know, I think you got to make a decision what the purpose of the gatekeeper is. Because as you become a person of interest, you will begin to get more demand. That demand can take over your whole life, really, if you're not careful. Where, you know, you try to be a person of interest, and person of interest means you're available and you take questions and calls and whatever the case may be. But the next thing you know, you don't have any boundaries on anything. There is no family time. There is no time away. There is no retreat to attack. There is no vacation. There is no, you know, and I've been guilty of, man, taking every vacation and monetizing it. Well, while we're there, why don't we add on a retreat? Well, when we go to Cabo, why don't we make Cabo why don't we stay 4 days and take 2 days and turn into a coaching retreat? Then it becomes like, there's never really any time away from the business. And the problem with that is then you begin to build a business that you despise. You wake up one day and you actually hate the very thing you love. Yeah. I've actually created a monster, and there's no separation between me and that monster. And I don't think that's healthy. I think you need space. I think you need space from the business. So you got to make up your mind what the gatekeeper is going to do. Are they an extension of you and they can handle problems on your behalf, or are they just, you know, a buffer between you and people? So they have to schedule meetings and get on your schedule before they get time with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other gritty questions before we get started?
Yeah, Coach, I have one. What do you do when you're trying to, how can I put this? You're trying to develop the business as best you can, as quick as you can, and but your patience is wearing thin, because, and I know from being in business that, you know, you don't make a call and you get business, generally speaking, that same call. But what I'm finding is, because of the fact that I've been away from this type of business for so long, getting back into it, my patience is thin, because I want to get started and I want to get moving. And it's like I'm spinning and spinning and spinning. And something you just said is, I'm sitting on the couch at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, still trying to figure out ways to get back to them, to get to that yes. And it gets frustrating after a while.
Yeah, and it is frustrating. And but I face the same thing you do, which is why you need large numbers of leads that you're working on. Okay, when you're seeing me get to the numbers you're seeing me get to each month, I think as of this today, we're right at 500,000 in sales for the month of November, you know, which is a big month. Last month I did 1.3 million. But let me tell you, we're working on hundreds and hundreds of deals, Tony, at one time. I mean, there are some people that said, I want you to be my coach. I'm ready to sign the agreement. I'm signing it today. And man, it may be a month before they sign it. And it's a very frustrating process, because and we're going to talk about this tonight, about the follow-up. I'm following up with so many people at one time that I don't know what's going to hit today. We're tracking sales daily, but literally trying to get, you know, hundreds of deals across the finish line. And we have a lot of bandwidth. You know, we got marketing people pushing out marketing. I'm doing webinars to drive people to it. We have salespeople making outbound sales calls. But you don't need to be working on one deal. You need to be working on 10 deals, because that one deal, I can tell you, yes, I want to do it. Yes, I'm interested. Yes, I'm ready to go. But there's 4 things, Tony, that I'm working on at one time for me to make this coaching decision. And you will find that when it comes to choosing a coach, there will be some people that are early adopters. Man, you talk to them one time, they're like, sign me up, I'm ready to go. Then you'll find that some people have to sleep on it, think about it, talk to people about it, get a committee to approve it, get on board with it. Like, some of the bigger deals have taken me a year to close, which is why you got to be working on a lot of deals at one time. Okay. And I think that's the big takeaway from that lesson, is you don't need one deal, you need 10 deals.
Yeah. Okay.
Now,
Thank
tonight
you.
we're going to
Yes.
talk about follow-up. So we're going to hit on how to follow up appropriately.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Any more greedy questions before I get started?
I just want to know how Zach got in this group of Hair Club for Men.
What was that?
Yeah,
We got
Zach,
4 beautiful bald heads and you.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I take some pills in the morning. I don't know what's in them, but
Zach, you got to
apparently
shave
they're
your head.
working.
You got to shave your head to be in this group to show how committed you are.
I am willing to do that, Coach. More than willing.
All right, so let's talk about a few things. Okay, I'm working you through a system, and the system is activation of prey drive, and I feel like that's happening with you guys. I really do. Okay, I feel like part of prey drive is exposure to something, and I'm down at my house in Florida, and we have a nice 9-bedroom house in Florida. It's a big house that we rent out, and we do retreats here, but it's about 2 blocks off the ocean. And this particular part of Florida is very expensive. We actually have this house on the market for $2.595 million. And we're kind of going through these emotions of, do we want to sell it? No, we don't want to sell it. Yes, we do want to sell it. No, we don't want to sell it. And, we have another house under contract that's 3.1 million. That's off the ocean as well, but it's in a different, just right down the street, maybe 15 minutes. And I was out exercising this morning, and I was up there at the ocean, and the guy come out to get his paper, and he's up on the ocean. He's probably in a $10 to $12 million house. And as soon as I saw that dude come out and get his paper, I'm like, dang it, activated my prey drive, man. I immediately wanted to get on the phone and make sales calls. I'm like, man, what do I got to do to have that house up there? Because that dude's getting his mail, coming out, getting his paper. He's up there in a $10 million house. He's looking at the ocean. I got to walk up to the ocean. So exposure is an activator of prey drive. But if you just get your prey drive activated and you don't back it up, you don't really do the things we're talking about. You don't make the calls every day. You don't follow up like you need to. You don't put big deals together. You're not right. Your prey drive is activated, but there's no engine behind it. And you need the engine. And the engine is, I got to have an explanation of service. Okay. I got to attack every single day and work the selling system. I got to call on new money every day. I got to put strategic partnerships together. I got to get in front of more people. Okay. And that's going to require a lot of sacrifice. Okay. And just remember, we don't need more money. We need more people. So once our prey drive is activated through fear of loss, competition, exposure, like I had this morning. Okay. I'm thinking of that environment, right? These are activators of prey drive. Once the prey drive is activated, then I move to explanation of my value. And it's like, okay, what do I have? What do I believe? And who do I go out and find other people that believe the same things I do? I'm a big believer that strategic partnerships is a big way of the future, because that puts you in front of more people. Well, really, you're partnering with other people who believe the same things you do. Okay. Sharon Lecter and I have become pretty good friends. She wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad with Robert Kiyosaki, and the first 10 books for Kiyosaki. And she really told me that the way they grew Rich Dad, Poor Dad was not by hiring hundreds and hundreds of employees, but it was through strategically partnering with the top call centers, the top seminar companies, the top licensing companies. So, you think of a company that grew that big, you think, well, they probably got hundreds and hundreds of people. She said, no, what we really did was partner with the right people and who believe the same things they do. Now, what happened is her and Kiyosaki ultimately broke up and had a split with each other because they did not believe the same things. He wanted to franchise the company. She thought there was quality control issues. They placed a valuation on the company, and she got her part and he got his part, and they went their separate ways, because ultimately all conflict happens when two people don't believe the same things. Okay. When two people don't believe the same things. So I got my EOS. This is what I believe. This is why I believe it. This is what I do. This is how I do it different. This is who I do it for. Okay. And I am going out into the marketplace looking for people who believe the same things I do. Okay. I'm only looking for people that are looking for me. And there are enough people that believe the same things you do, folks. You just have to go through lots of people. Okay. You got to go through, that's when you're hiring people, you know, to Tony and Catherine's question, you know, we're hiring a nanny right now, you know, so we're interviewing nannies because we travel all over the world. We have 2 kids. My wife's trying to run her business. And I'm like, we need to make sure they believe the same things we do. Okay. That's the number one thing. What do we believe? We believe in moving about the universe. We believe in seeing opportunity and going for it. We believe in coming in early and staying late. We believe in family. We believe, you know, we need to hire people who believe the same things we do. Now, once I have my EOS, it is then time to play offense. And playing offense to me means I come into every day and I work the selling system. That means I have a hit list of new money I'm going after. Okay. And that could come through strategic partnership. It could come through current clients. It could come through past clients, or it could come through the direct leads. Okay. And the way I generate a lot of leads, as you know, is I do free webinars like I'm doing tomorrow night. I'm doing one on how to write a book. Everybody needs a book in life. And then I'm turning around and doing another one called how to attack sales every day. I strategically partner with a person in the insurance industry who has a database of 35,000 people. So we will push that out through my database and his database. We'll reach about 50,000 people. Our goal is to get 200 people on that webinar. We will then push people to a 1-day virtual summit. That's $97. We will then have a $997 offering on that full day. That includes a day at the lodge, 2 days at the lodge with me and him. We will then have a $5,000 offering to go to Mexico and spend 3 days with us in Mexico. That is the trajectory of that event. So what are we doing? Now, let me pop quiz. Norbert, why are we doing the webinar tomorrow night for free? What are we trying to do?
The value ladder, promote for the next event.
Exactly right. We're trying, this is just a way to take a meeting with 200 people and showcase our talent. Okay. Now, if that's right, let them taste the ice cream. If we're going to spend that much time and energy putting this together, we never do anything without having something for them to take advantage of, something for them to take action on. Okay. So we will then have a 1-page, basically landing page, and people can go and buy a $97 ticket. Now, let's just do the math here. Okay. So let's say we get, let's say that, we get 500 people on there. Okay. Now just look at this. We get 500 people on there, folks. We make $50,000 just to do the webinar. That's 25 for him and 25 for me. How many of y'all would do a webinar for a day for 25K? Okay, good. Now, let's say from the webinar on the 500 people, let's say we get 150 take advantage of the 997. Okay, now we've already made 50. Now we just made $150,000 more dollars. Okay, split that both ways. That's 75 and 75 plus the 25. He and I both have made 100,000. Now, let's say we get those people to the lodge, and let's say we have 10 people take advantage of a $5,000 offer to go to Mexico with us. Now we made another 50,000. So he and I both, for our little excursion together, have made $125,000 together. Everybody see that? And it all started with the free webinar. Everybody see that journey? This is a journey. This is called the value ladder. Now, what I'm telling you though, is in the old days, this is interesting because if you generate leads, see what we're going to really do here is generate a bunch of leads. Okay. It's not now out of the 500, if only 150 people take action, Yolanda, we still got 350 people to call. 350 people in our database. 350 people who didn't take action that we can still target, retarget, sell something else. We don't need more money. We need more people. So what we really did is we added 500 new people to the equation. We got our name and face in front of 30 to 50,000 more people. And we ended up making $150,000 if it all works right. But, and so each of us make $100,000 to $125,000, whatever the case may be. Okay. Now that at the end of the day, when you add all of that up, how much time do we really put in that? You know, we got an hour for the free webinar, 3 hours for the full day, 12 hours. So let's just call it 20 to 30 hours for $150,000. Okay. Now, what we're doing is this is just a new way to prospect versus me. If I went into my database right now and started calling people one at a time, we still do this, by the way, but it's like one phone call, then I talk for 10 or 15 minutes, then another phone call, talk for 10 or 15 minutes, then I can't get 15 of them on the phone. Then I'm spent, you see what I'm saying? I've now made 80 phone calls to talk to 4 people to sell one $997 package when I can do a webinar and get 200 people on there, right? Make 50,000 bucks and then push them to the next thing. So this is the power of how we play offense now versus defense. But every day, if you come in my day, okay, at dinner tonight, okay, wouldn't it be great being married to me? I started working my hit list tonight. Okay, so we go to dinner and look at what it says. It's got what time I wake up, what time I'm working out. Then it's got from 9 to 11. These are Blue Marlin deals. So there's so all my from 9 to 11 tomorrow, it's got all my big deals I'm working on. That's my hit list. And some of them are not even coaching deals. I'm selling 2 things in my real estate portfolio. I'm supposed to get $1 million payout from a company on something that I'm still negotiating. I'm working on this December 11th event, and I'm making some key decisions. From 9 to 11, that's my hit list. And I'm trying to close some people down. What would that be called? People that have indicated interest in my product. What would that be called?
Red zone.
That's right. Got my red zones there. My red zones are people that are close. So right down at the bottom, if you notice on my napkin, here's my 5 or 6 red zones for tomorrow. Okay. Now, if I close these people, these are people that are interested in certain business, certain lines of business. So there's 35, 40, 5, 50, and then potentially 80,000. So there's $130,000 of business that I could close tomorrow if I get these people closed. Okay. That's called my red zone. So when I come in from 9 to 11 tomorrow, I'm only focused on my biggest opportunities. Now there's going to be things come up tomorrow and I'm like, ain't got time for that. Ain't got time for that. Ain't got time for that. This is what I got to focus on right here. These are the biggest things I got to focus on. Okay. Then I move into a podcast tomorrow afternoon. That's a promotion. That's a marketing or promotion to get in front of more people. We will package that up and put it on my YouTube. Then I've got a meeting with a CEO of a mortgage company that I got the big deal with. Then I got a meeting with a company in London. Then I've got 2 webinars. Okay. Now notice what I'm doing tomorrow. I start at 6:30 in the morning. Looks like I'll be done at 8:30 tomorrow night. That's a long day, folks. Now, here's my point. All of this, notice what I'm getting in here, because this is very important. From 9 to 11, I'm doing nothing but prospecting and trying to close deals. And that's something that you would find on my schedule every single day. Every day I'm working the hit list. Every day I'm working the farm club. Every day I'm working my big advocates. Okay. Now tonight we're talking about follow-up. And I want you to think about follow-up as not just on leads. See, a lot of people, when I say follow-up, they immediately go to closing business. Like I'm following up to close business. And that is true. There is a function of follow-up to try to bring a person to a decision. And the word decide means to kill off, as you know. So the purpose of the follow-up is to help a person make a decision. Okay. But follow-up to me, and I wrote a book called $1 Million Follow-Up, has become much broader. You see, anybody that could help you advance your dream down the field, you need to follow up with. Okay. So let me give you a different context. Amy today mentioned to me that she had a couple more people that she was interested in bringing to the lodge, doing something with me. She's indicating interest. Now it's up to me to follow up with her. Okay. To follow up on that opportunity. Okay. Now, let me give you another one. So that's one opportunity is Amy said, hey, I got a couple more people I'd like to bring. Okay, good. How do we help you? Had a person tonight that wanted to get tickets to something. Okay, how do we help you buy the tickets? Had a person today that told me he was interested in my coaching summit. All right, now, when people indicate interest, where do you put their information? Because this is very important. Where do you store all this information at? Are you using a CRM? Is it captured somewhere? Do you get their name and information and phone number? Right? Do you put them in your database? Because you need more people in there. Okay. So opportunity is, hey, X number of people told me they were interested in something today. But there's also X number of people told me they wanted to partner on something today. Okay. They wanted to be involved in something today. So let me give you an example. Paul Martinelli has helped John Maxwell, Bob Proctor, a lot of big time people build their coaching certification programs. Okay. And he's been very successful. And he reached out to me over the weekend and said, hey, I know you're building out your certifications. You and I have talked. I've helped this person and this person and this person and this person. They were big numbers. Okay. He helped John Maxwell build out his certification. They did 33,000 certified coaches at 5,000 a pop. Folks, that's $150 million. So Paul Martinelli reaches out to me and said, hey, I'd like to work with you, coach, and help you build out your certification. Okay. Now, the reason this is important is because I could just let it go, or I could go back to Paul and say, hey, Paul, I am interested in having a conversation with you. I am interested in building up my certified coaches. That's not immediate money, but that is a partnership where he knows something I don't know. He comes in and helps me build something out. How many people in a given day say, hey, let's do something together. Let's follow up with each other that we never follow up with, that we never monetize, that we never turn into business? How many strategic partners, how many people could we go to and say, hey, I want to get in front of your people. I want to strategically partner with you. Hey, I see an opportunity with you. They're everywhere. They are literally everywhere. And what happens is we just get so busy, we don't think about it. So follow up is, I am fanatical about people are bringing opportunity to the equation. Who's following up with all of these people? Okay. Who's reaching out for the strategic partnerships? Who's seeing a lead through to its natural maturation? Who's following a deal up until there's money to be made? And unfortunately, this is where a lot of people lose money. This is where a lot of people drop the ball. This is where a lot of people, okay? Now, let me give you an example. We had an accountant get in my coaching program a couple of years ago, and he came to every summit that I did, and he had a little sidekick, and his sidekick was a great salesman. And they would show up at our boot camps and talk to every single person there, and then follow up with every single person there. And he would ask a simple question. He would say, now, Amy, are you satisfied with your current accountant? And almost every person said, no, we're not satisfied with our current accountant. And they would say, if we could do a better job with your accounting, would you come over to us? And that dude picked up, just from my network of people, $800,000 of new business. Okay. Now, and so I stepped back and I said, man, he's got more business out of this group than any group I've ever seen in my life. What did he do? Well, he showed up, he had high touch, he had high frequency, and he followed up like crazy. How many of y'all been part of a group of people that you hadn't followed up appropriately? See, let me give you an example. Doug Wood's been good to me. He's the number one guy at Optavia. Dan Valentine's one of the top guys at Optavia. These are people at the top of their game. To stay in front of all those people, I need to be in front of those two guys all the time, man. I need to wake up every day and go, okay, who do I need to follow up with today? I need to follow up with Paul Martinelli because Martinelli knows how to make 150 million. I need to follow up on that partnership, right? I need to follow up on that deal. I need to follow up with that key person. I need to follow up, right? Like when you sit down and think about it, they're everywhere. Yes or no? They're literally everywhere, folks. We can't even get to all the opportunities. So you may wake up and go, so I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time with this opportunity. I'm having a hard time. There's not enough opportunity out there for me. And that would be the wrong way of thinking. The right way of thinking is, how do I follow up with all the people I've ever serviced, I've ever helped, I've ever talked to, I've ever engaged with, I've ever done anything with. See, Eric White is on my sales team. He's been on my sales team for 2 or 3 years. And one day he said, Coach, my pipeline's thin, man. I just don't have anybody to call. And I said, Eric, how many people have you sold into my coaching programs? He said, I don't know, Coach, 800. And I'm like, 800 people? And you're telling me you don't have anybody to call? Call any of the 800. Talk to them. I said, look at my database, man. There's 3,000 names in my database. Call them. Engage with them. Matter of fact, call the top 25 customers you've ever worked with, Eric. I said, but don't ever say you don't have somebody to call. That was his thinking, though. He's like, man, all my new people's dried up, man. I just don't have anybody new. Now I'm producing so many people, he can't get to all of them. So when it comes to follow-up, I want to impress upon you the importance of, I follow up like a fanatic. And anytime I see an opportunity with a person that I can help, I immediately go to that person and say, man, I want to follow up with you. I want to add value to you. I want to create a solution to you. I want to help you. I mean, I'm following up people like crazy. Okay. Now let me stop right there and ask you, are you seeing how vast the opportunities are? Okay. Now let me tell you the dilemma that I've been in on this house is, I was telling my buddy, when you buy a house for $3 million, the banks are hesitant to loan that much money. It's called a jumbo loan. So right now, the banks, because of COVID and president situation, the banks will not loan you more than 75% of the deal. Okay. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to get a bank to go to 80%, which means I had to put 20% down, which is, 3 million times 20%, 600,000. But every bank says, no, we won't do, we need 25% down, Coach. We don't know what's going to happen with the election. We don't know what's going to happen with COVID. We really need more skin in the game. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, there's a big difference between 600,000 and 775,000, okay, of cash. And I'm talking to my buddy the other day, and I said, well, my hesitation is I don't really want to put 775,000 of cash into this deal. Although I'm selling one house, but what if it don't sell? There's a little risk there. What if it don't sell at the price I want? What if I don't have as much equity as I thought? And he said to me, you were willing to put 600,000 of cash into this, right? I said, yeah. And he said, well, we ain't talking about 775. We're talking about 175. So he's like, for all the people you're telling me you can't go out and find $175,000 in a couple of days or a month, Coach? Is that what you're telling me? He said, man, you don't even listen to what you're coaching people on. The money's out there. You just got to go out there and find it. He said, can't you create a special? Can't you create a deal? Can't you produce $100,000? Can't you go out there and get it? And I'm like, you're right. That is what we're talking about. We could go find that money pretty easily, by the way, if we just thought about it. See, I was stuck on this concept. He's like, we're not talking about that big concept. We're talking about this concept. And that money is available to you. You just got to figure out how to go out there and put a deal together. And so I'm like, you're right. I'm gonna go find a $175,000 deal. And then I can have the house that I want. Now, why am I telling you that? Because it's all available to us. We just ain't followed up on it. It's all available to us. Everybody believe that? Yes or no? But we haven't followed up like crazy. And follow up is on all the opportunity. Okay? All the opportunity that is available to you that you have not touched, followed up, invited to. Like, just by me telling you this, I could give you 20 names right now, people that I could have done a better job following up with. people that wanted to give me money, people that wanted to do business with me. They wanted to strategically partner. For whatever reason, I got too busy being fabulous. I got too busy running down the road that I didn't bring the deal to its maturation. I didn't bring it to its maturation. That means see the lead through to its logical conclusion. Okay. And so for you, if you don't get this concept, what happens is you don't see a deal. This goes back to Tony Richards. When you're working these deals, Tony, what I do when I'm following up is this weekend, there was a person that wanted to invest $25,000 in my coaching to be in our 25K level. And I couldn't get her off the fence. Eric can't get her off the fence. And I'm sitting there thinking, what could I do to not try to sell her, but to educate her more? So I did a video on Saturday, walking around my subdivision on how to pick a coach and what I thought a good coach should do for you. Okay. I cut that video on my phone. I uploaded it to YouTube. Okay. And I sent the link to my team and I said, for anybody who is interested in hiring me as their coach, I want you to send them this video. It's 10 minutes of me breaking down what I think a good coach should do for a person, which is activate their prey drive and bring a structure to them that they don't have. Right. And so I break this whole thing down. I'm like, send that to everybody in your pipeline. Okay. Now, my next play may be to send her a text message and say, hey, it looks like we're losing some momentum. I believe we lose 10% of momentum every day we don't take action. Now is the perfect time to hire a coach. The last 2 months of the year, design and redesign the business, right? Is there anything keeping you from taking action on this? Okay, that would be one of my follow-ups. I could send her testimonial videos. Here's X number of people who have used me as their coach. Here's the results that they've gotten. Okay. I could just pick up the phone and call and say, hey, for some reason we haven't been able to connect and put this thing together. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I've done a poor job explaining my value. Maybe you're sitting on something. There's some inside baseball. I don't know. Now I can't help you till you commit. Call me back. I'm at my house in Florida. I'd love to visit with you. Okay. Those are all follow-ups I could use with this person. So education. I could send her strategy. I could send her testimonials. I could send her any of my video assets. Okay. I could send her my free webinar tomorrow night. Hey, jump on this free webinar with me tomorrow night and see how I attack a day. Okay. These are all assets. That is so much better than calling and saying, are you ready to go? Are you ready to take action? I'm ready to get started. I want to use every asset that I have to follow up with people. Okay. And to me, what I really got to do is I got to show them how I can solve a problem for them. I got to show them how I can solve a problem for them. Okay. Now I use this company out of New York City, and I was telling my person today, that's my project manager. I said, look, and I've agreed to allow them to manage my virtual summits. So I'm going to do 6 virtual summits minimal in 2021, and they're going to manage these summits for me start to finish. I pay them a flat fee plus a percentage of the take on the back end. They handle every email, everything that I do to do these virtual summits. Okay. So I think it's a pretty good deal. So I'm on the phone with my project manager today, and I'm like, look, if you really want to solve a problem for me, sell these summits out. I want 500 people on every summit. All I want to do is show up and coach. You guys get the people there, handle the ad strategy, handle the email strategy, handle the click funnels, handle everything for me. Okay. Boom. I said, but if you really want to solve a problem for me, I've already released my first 3 months live events. You sell those live events out. That solves a major problem for me. If you think you can do that, there's money to be made here for you. See, if they want to get my business, they should follow up with me and say, look, we're going to use 5 strategies to sell every one of your boot camps out. All you got to do is you and your team has got to show up and coach. We've solved the problem for you. Money changes hands when problems are solved. Therefore, the follow-up is to show the person how I can solve the problem for them. Okay. This is how I can solve the problem for you. This is your problem. This is my solution. Okay. This is why you should hire me to solve this problem for you. Okay. Now, and if you're not going 7 to 15 touches, then you're really not in the game, in my opinion, when you're following up with people. Okay. Dabbling is not. Now, we had an Optavia person come to my publishing summit, and she got there and she said, man, I have all kinds of strategic partnerships of people that want to write books. And coach, what if I send you 20 or 30 or 40 people? Like, how can I be involved? And I said, man, I'd be happy to give you a commission. We'll just form a strategic partnership. For everybody that you tell that they should write a book with me, for everybody that goes through and writes the book with me, here's how much money I'll give you as the salesperson. And that's an additional form of revenue for you. Okay. Now, that is a strategic partnership. So I go right back to her and I go, hey, I want to get clear on the deal. Here's what we're offering. My publishing team is there. I tell my team, everyone she sends to us, put it in a special place. This is her commission payout. If she helps us, let's just do some math here, folks. Okay. If she helps us get 20 more books, let's just say at $15,000 a book, she's helped us make $300,000 more dollars. Everybody see that? Okay. If I give her 300,000, if I give her, okay, let's say I give her 10%, I think she gets more than that. That's 30 more thousand to her, by the way, for doing nothing but recommending. Now, is that worth following up with her to stay at the top of her mind so that she's telling everybody she should write a book with us? Yes or no? Would you just call her every now and then to get $300,000? Okay, of course you would, which is why, now how many people would say, that's a good deal. If you send us a few people, that's good. We'll give you a little commission. No, I want to form these strategic partnerships that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, not a few $1,000s. Okay. I don't mind giving her 30 or 40 or 50,000 to make 250,000. Okay. So when somebody says, look, I can bring you 20 to 30 people. I got a huge downline of people. They all want to write books. If I tell them, right, if I go through the process with you and think it's good and recommend them, can I get a piece of it? Absolutely. We'd love to give you a piece. That's a strategic partnership. But I need to be calling her every week. Hey, how's it going? How many people you got for us to write a book with this week? How can we introduce them to our team? See, that's a follow-up. That's a strategic partnership. So let me stop right there and let me ask you, where are you struggling in the follow-up? Could be you don't have enough people to follow up. Could be you lose the leads. Could be you don't have enough assets to follow up. Or it could be you just don't bring people to a buying decision, right? Where do you feel like you're falling off the wagon as it relates to the follow-up?
Hey, coach, I have one that's kind of not in those categories. I think for me, I don't have enough accountability with my follow-up. Like like I've got a CRM that reminds me, but it just doesn't move me to take those actions. What kind of systems do you use there?
Yeah, we use a couple things. We use Active Campaign, which is my CRM, which has all of our leads in that system. And in Active Campaign, let me just show it to you so you can see it. See if I can pull this thing up here. Oh, that was it right there. Now let's go into Active Campaign. Now this will show you, as people are interested in something, this will show you exactly where they are in the system in my Active Campaign. So this shows you that I've got 864 deals right here. It's saying that's worth 200,000, but it's worth more than that really. And we could sit here and call these people all day long. Shows you exactly what they purchased. All these people have purchased something from me. 864 people. Shows you exactly when they purchased it, Okay. Then you go over here and it shows you people that are interested. These are people that went to my website but didn't purchase it. These are people that have purchased something and now we'd like for them to purchase something bigger. So see this number right here? It's showing you that there's $583,000 right there, plus 266. So that's roughly 800,000 plus 200,000. So there's $1 million. It's saying there's $1 million in this right here. Okay. Now, my sales team uses this every day. So Zach, when they come in, they call them, pick up this person right here, shows you their phone number right there. Boom, right? Shows you they purchased something 5 days ago from me. Okay, everybody see that? Okay, I don't use this that much because the deals I'm working are very organic. They're much bigger than these. So what happens is the sales force that I have goes through these and then weeds out the people that are serious and then sends these people to me. The people that are most serious come to my red zone and they send me and they say, these are people who are most interested in our services. Will you call them, coach? Okay, but I could go through here and find $1 million, folks, guarantee it. This is why I'm so interested in call centers, because I've got, what is that? 1686, 1800 plus 80. There's, I don't know, what, 2,600 leads right there. Okay, now let's go to something else and let's see. Let's go to Zoom and let's see something. And I want to show you the next thing. Let's go through and let's look at our webinars. This is the back end of our webinars. Here's Everybody Needs a Book in Life. So this is my webinar for tomorrow night. Let's go to the bottom of this and let's see what we got. All right, right now there's 81 participants that are registered for this. 81 people are registered for Everybody Needs a Book in Life. Okay. And that's really a low number, to be honest with you. All right, let's go back and let's click on how to attack sales. This is the one I'm doing with Cody Askins, the insurance guy. Look at this one. This one's got 237 people registered for this one. That's for tomorrow night. Now, okay, so what I'm doing there, so between those two webinars, I've still got 300 people that are registered. Now, we take this list from this webinar and we will have, Eric White will go in here and call these people and he'll say, hey, Coach Burt's excited about having you tomorrow night on his webinar. When I do a webinar, I force people to give me their name, email, and phone number. Okay. And I want to make sure that I have all of that information. Okay. So look at all those leads that are coming in. 300 tomorrow night. That's 300 new people to call. Okay. All right. Megan Farrell, I see that you're on here. I want you to make a note to make sure all of the webinars with Lakin have been exported and pushed over to Active Campaign.
Will do.
So get with Kara Palmer on our team and Lakin and make sure all my past webinars, all of those names, emails, and phone numbers are exported over to Active Campaign. All right. What questions do you have there?
Yeah, so just you, when you're planning out your day, Coach, how do you structure in the follow-ups you're going to do, and how do you make sure that you're going to do them, versus something else that feels more urgent at the time?
Well, to me, there is nothing more urgent than closing deals. See, the way my mind thinks is the purpose of the business is to generate new money. So when I come into the day, my number one focus is closing deals. Out of everything I could do, that is how I focus. So from 9 to 11 tomorrow, I'm calling on new money. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people I'm trying to close tomorrow. And that 7 could be worth $150,000 if I get them all closed. So that's a lot of incentive. That could be the 150 I need to do the real estate deal. So I'm motivated, right? I'm motivated to close business. Plus it's coming down the home stretch and I want to hit my numbers by the end of November. Okay. I've actually already exceeded my number for November. in my coaching business, but now I want to just push as hard as I can to get this thing across the finish line. I want to go to the bell rings, man. I'm going to go to the bell rings. Okay.
Absolutely.
So from 9 to 11 tomorrow, my number one focus is calling on new money and closing money in the pipeline.
Okay. So that's in your new money time, is those follow-ups with strategic partners, everything like that. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, if I call on the Optavia person, just to stay at the top of her mind and say, hey, when I got you on the phone, let's write down 5 names right now, people that want to write a book. That's a high value activity. Okay. That's a high value activity. Okay. Anything that produces new money is a high value activity. Okay. What I sense with a lot of you guys on here is that you have something, an idea, a concept, a book, a skill. What you are missing is the monetization of that skill. And I'm trying to show you how I monetize, folks. Like I'm an animal. When I come into the day, my number one thing is focusing on the monetization of my concepts. Okay. So if you travel with me for a day, man, I'm on the phone, emailing, texting, following up, calling people, banging on people, trying to get the person to make a decision. And if you're not going to do this, somebody's got to do it. Okay. Somebody's got to call somebody to sell something. Okay. Somebody's got to do something. Now, Yolanda, you made a comment today during our call about working on the eBooks. I spent yesterday, this is kind of in correlation to what you talked about, on the plane ride down here, writing every email that's going to go out to my customers and my database from now till January 1st. I literally sat down, spent 2 hours, and every email that's coming out to you now, I wrote. What I do have, though, is a person packaging the email, adding the graphics, adding the links. But I wrote the emails and I spent 2 hours doing that. I would not spend 2 hours during my prospecting time doing that. I spent 2 hours on a Sunday afternoon doing that when I'm not prospecting. Because to me, it's not that it's a low value of my time, right? So I wouldn't spend time during the week writing a book. I would go somewhere on the weekend and write the book when I'm creative, because when I'm in the zone during the week, man, I'm focused on making money. I'm focused on calling people and closing people and getting deals across the finish line. It's not time for me to write a book. So like I told my wife, because we're down at our house in Florida, I'm like, I'm not going to relax until at least Wednesday night. Okay. Wednesday night comes, Thanksgiving's on Thursday. Most of the world will take some time off. I'll be relaxed on Thursday. I'll be a little relaxed on Friday. When we get to Saturday, I relax some. Okay. But I'm not going to be relaxed Monday to Wednesday because I got too many things to do. And a lot of people just don't have that kind of discipline, guys. They just don't have that kind of discipline. So it's like, hey, what could I do right now? Well, I could goof off. I could go up to the beach. I could read a book. I could play around. No, we need to be monetizing something. And that takes a lot of push every day, folks. I mean, a lot of push. And I don't think most people understand that. People come and work with me, and Megan can probably tell you this because she's only been working with me for 3 or 4 or 5 months. And they don't understand how hard running a coaching business is, trying to get people to make a decision, trying to get people to invest money in themselves, the sales side of this is brutal. It is absolutely brutal because, you got to go through large numbers of people. Okay. I'm sure, Amy, you see this in Optavia business too. You got to go through large numbers of people because people start and quit. Then they don't ever get cranked up. Then they want to quit the first week. Then they don't, right? But you got to go through massive numbers of people, folks, to really do these things big. And that's kind of what I was saying to Tony Richards. Tony, if you looked at my pipeline, man, I'm working on 20, 30, 40 big deals at one time just to land 1 or 2 to try to hit my numbers. And then I'm picking up a lot of 997s and 99 a month and these lower level programs. So I've got all these products to sell, and I'm just going after people all day long, talking to people, going, okay, you need this product. Are you ready to take action? Now we got to follow up with, oh, you need this product. Oh, we need to sign a coaching agreement. Oh, you have a team of people. Oh, you need to be at this. And it's just all day long working that system. Okay. All right. What other questions do you have, folks? Tonight we're talking about $1 million follow-up.
So, Coach, you had told me on our call when I've got 4 or 5 things that I'm working, right? You said your question to me was, which one, if you needed to make $5,000 tomorrow, which one would you focus on?
That's right.
So that being said, do you put all of your effort in that basket and, get that generating revenue before you focus on the other? Or do you just allot, 70% of your time there and 30% to the other 3 opportunities that you might be working on?
I focus most, if not all of my time, if I was in where you're at, Norbert, on the one thing and get it working. Okay. I want a core product. Okay. And the core product, before I dilute my energy, my core product has got to go to my biggest money generating activity. Now, once you get that one thing going, for example, let's take the Optavia person that was at my lodge. She's making a lot of money in Optavia, a lot of money. Now she's starting to figure out there's other ways I can make money. Here's what she said to me. She said, Coach, I came to your lodge and let me tell you what I really figured out. How you make money in all these other ways. Strategic partnerships, publishing, these other feeder systems you have. She's like, I got all these people. I got all access to all kinds of people that right. There's other ways for me to monetize, but I've never really thought about it till I came to your lodge and saw you do it. Okay. And so, if I'm running Cynthia's restaurant, listen, it ain't just serve food in there. You may be serving food, but what I'm really doing is building some strategic partnerships with folks. I'm really doing is building new associations. I'm really, right, like Johnny Caraba in there. I may be serving food, but at the same time, I'm working on a real estate deal in that restaurant. At the same time, I'm building a partnership. At the same time, I'm got my tentacles out there working other people. Like the restaurant's just the reason people come in. I'm really in there doing deals at the restaurant. If my wife will let me on a restaurant, I don't know. Just to do deals with folks. Okay. So, but the follow-up's got to be there, folks. So Norbert, for you, pick a lane, stay focused on that one thing, get that puppy up and running. Then once that thing's up and running, then we can do the other things. Okay. Other questions on the follow-up?
Coach, I had a question written down. I think you've sort of answered it, but I want to clarify.
Yep.
So you said that you're doing any way that you can help is what you're doing for follow-up. And I know follow-up, I've been taught before, has been adding value to the person. So I heard you saying, that you're sending them everything you've got, education, strategic things, videos, all these different things that you have. Is it always to that end, or is your follow-up sometimes doing somebody a favor that you're hoping will come back around at some point and help? I mean, are there any out of the box types of things you're doing that are, I know you said not to say, are you ready to jump on board? But I mean, are there other things you're doing that might be a little out of the box thinking wise for follow-up?
Yeah, I think sometimes my follow-up is just a connection. It's just to build connection with people. It's just I really did an event with you, really enjoyed it. Sometimes I think you're a cool person. I don't know what the opportunity is for us. Maybe there's something. Sometimes it's just to bring a strategy or a tactic or an energy. Sometimes it's just to check on a person. I don't use that a lot. Hey, I was thinking about you, but take like Tim's story. I just did an event with him. I'm gonna call it Tim and say, hey man, really enjoyed doing an event with you. I'm looking forward to a big 2021. I got 2 or 3 things I think would be good for you. And he may say, I got 2 or 3 things that I think would be good for you. I just want to stay in people's faces. And I think, you're in the Optavia group, so you've seen how Doug and Tia Wood do this. I mean, they may be as good as anybody in the world at just staying in people's face. They came to my lodge last week and I watched how they sit and talk to people. And then they follow up with people. And Tim Story does this. They understand that if I see Zach at the lodge and I spend some time with him one-to-one and he feels good about me and I feel good about him, I don't know what Zach and I are going to do in the future, but here's what I know. Zach is now out there fighting for me, right? Like I saw Doug and Tia Wood at my lodge last week, talk to a young kid. And the next day the kid said, man, I'm moving to Scottsdale. Me and my wife are moving to Scottsdale out there where Doug and Tia are next go. And I'm like, man, you just met them. Like you literally just met them. But here's the deal. They had such an impact on the kid. The kid's like, look, I don't know what me and Doug Wood are going to do together, but I'm moving to Scottsdale. And it's like, right? It's like, okay. But here's my point. They understand that you don't need more money. You need more people. They might not do anything together, but they may. So the world, the best people in the world, John Maxwell used to do this. And maybe he still does it. He would go to the top multi-level marketing people in the world, and he would mentor them for free. So he'd go the top guy at Zija, Optavia, Amway, whatever. And he would say, look, if you'll just come down to Palm Beach, Florida, I'll mentor you for free. I've got something called the Nest. And that's where I mentor high-level leaders. Of course, everybody's like, oh my God, I'm going to be mentored by John Maxwell. Well, guess what? Every one of those dudes hired John Maxwell to speak at their conventions, which put John Maxwell in front of 30, 40, 50,000 more people. They typically paid him his full fee, which was $100,000. And what he did is he gave them free mentoring to get access to the group. Then he created value. And then they said, you know, Coach, John, I want you to speak at my summit. And we got 50,000 people coming to this summit. And now Maxwell's in front of 50,000 people getting paid his full fee, but because he mentored those people for free. That was a genius move, by the way. Okay. Now, I think John's one of the best people in the world, but I've had people that work very closely with him, and they said, look, if you don't think he's into monetization of a concept and into money, then you've lost your mind. Okay. He is into monetization of a concept. Now he packages it up sweet, and he's friendly, and he's got a pastor background. But if you don't think that he's interested in making money, you've not paid attention. Okay. So, and you can do good things and make money, folks. There's nothing wrong with what he did, giving free mentoring away. I mean, there's nothing sneaky about it. Look, I'm going to mentor you for free. Come to, right? That's actually a very good strategy. That's a showcase for him. Now, how many of you, while we've been talking tonight, see, look, these are my notes from tonight. Just while we've been talking, look at all the people I got to follow up with now. See, just by talking to you, you've added more people to my list for tomorrow. I want to get your mind. I don't need a CRM. Okay. To me, low-level salespeople need a CRM. I don't need a CRM. All I need is people. Okay. And as long as I got people, I'm like, oh, follow up with that dude, follow up with that woman, follow up on that possibility, follow up with that person. Oh, I mean, I could sit here all night long and talk to you and go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper on follow-ups. Okay. And so it's just tomorrow. Will I have the discipline to do this or not? Will I have the discipline to work it or not? And if I do, there's money to be made on this napkin right here if I just follow up with all these people. Okay. So you don't need a fancy CRM, although it's helpful. What you need the CRM for is to collect all that data and pour it in there so you can push out to people. Make sense?
So if, Coach, I know with a lot of your follow-ups, you're pushing people to an asset. What would you suggest for me? Because in the past, all my follow-ups have been, linear follow-ups, like just asking for the business. So what should that transition period to a more value-based follow-up look like?
Yeah. If you just call me, and look, if you're calling on people and they always feel like you're just trying to sell them something.
Right.
Then there's not a lot of value there. What you want to do is the follow-up should be valuable. You should bring the non-linear follow-up is you bring a tactic, a strategy, a concept. You bring something of value. Okay. And one of the things I always ask people is, what are you trying to do? What do you want to do? What are you doing? And people tell me, they're like, well, I want to do this. Well, I want to do this. Well, I want to do this. Okay, good. Now that I know what you want to do, let me see. Now I can help you. Now I can help you with something. Could be a video, could be a concept, could be an idea, could be a tactic, could be a strategy, could be an introduction, by the way. Okay. And that's valuable. So it's not, I want you to think of, I'm not calling you every time to sell you something. I'm actually calling you to connect with you. Right. Now, there's a real estate agent in Alabama named Ricky Caruth, And Ricky Caruth is doing over 100 transactions a year with no team. He's got one assistant. And he prides himself on creating value for people. And so he's got a free coaching program that's got like 30,000 real estate agents in it. Now, when you have 30,000 people coming to you every day, even if it's for free, do you believe that there's an opportunity for monetization? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one of his biggest strategies is in his market. He just picks up the phone and calls people and says, hey, I'm Ricky Caruth. I'm a local real estate professional. I don't know if you know me or not, but I believe every person deserves a right to have a professional. I'm not trying to sell you anything. If you ever have a real estate need, question, concept, anything, you call me. Here's my number. And he just spends time connecting to people every day. He's not calling to sell them something. He's calling them to connect with them. So when they do think of real estate, they go, oh yeah, we know who you are. Okay, next time you need anything comes up real estate. Any type of question you have about real estate, the market, the value, you call me. I'd be happy to help you. He's into the power of connection. So get out of the concept of trying to sell somebody something every time. Get into the concept of I just want to connect and help move a person down the field. I want to help and move a person down the field. Right?
What if they don't know where they're going? What
Well,
if they don't know what they want?
Then you can provide some value for them right there. Okay. Hey, you guys see my daughter, Ella Grace Burt? What's up? Okay. Now when I talked to Tony Richards, I think his wife, Tony, your wife had seen me do something, right? Okay.
Yeah, she did, Coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, then I called her. She said, I want you to call my husband. Would you be willing to call my husband? So on a Saturday, I said, I'd be happy to call him. On a Saturday, I called him, talked to him. Just, man, what are you trying to do? Help me understand what you're trying to do. And he explained to me. And I said, okay, here's the best way I can help you get to where you're trying to go. Okay. That's not a sales call. It's, I have something that helps him solve a problem. But the follow-up was, hey, his wife wanted me to call him, spend some time with him on the weekend. I said, sure, I'd be happy to. Okay. And to me, that is what you should be thinking every day. I need to wake up and connect with people, and I need to help them advance their dreams down the field. And if I help enough people advance their dreams down the field, I'm going to make enough money, folks. Everybody see that? And it's not always selling somebody something. It's just helping a person. Okay. And that's really what I want to get you in the mindset of. Follow-up is about helping a person. Okay. Cynthia said, I'm working on my customer appreciation open house. What could be my next event? I see you, if you're using the restaurant, Cynthia, as small, intimate dinners, private dinners where you invite people and have good conversation. And some of my best deals have happened over dinner where I had good, strong conversation where I could articulate my value. So you may start something that meets on a frequency. You may have different groups of people that meet. I like the customer appreciation piece, but I also like inviting strategic partners together, love on people. Actually, we have a place in Nashville and it has this beautiful wine room. And I told my wife here at the end of the year, we should just invite some key strategic partners and just have an incredible dinner. Let people just relax, have some wine, talk life, business, just connect, just the power of connection. That's what I'd be doing for showcase events. Different subgroups, customers, strategic partners, biggest advocates, anything you can do, pull people together where they get excited. Now, if you come to my lodge, has anybody on here come to my lodge yet? Okay. All right. Cynthia has. You can tell them what happens, Cynthia, when people get to that lodge. What do you see happens?
For me, always the biggest takeaway is just being in the room with people.
Yeah.
It's always the connection of being in the room. I mean, we can do Zoom all day long. Certain days I am on Zoom a lot, but just having the connection of the people it fires you up too. It gets you, it has its spark.
That's right. And it activates your prey drives, and it builds lifelong partnerships and friendships. It's just a powerful showcase. So I tell people, I don't care if people pay $1 or $10,000 to come to the lodge. I know when they get there, they're going to want to do more things and they're going to enjoy themselves. And it's a magical thing. Okay. So, but here's the deal. When people leave, they're going to go back to their life. You got to follow up with them. You got to stay in their life. You got to keep a frequency. You got to stay in the flow and the rhythm of their life, or they just, man, they get caught up in the thick of thin things.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
So I'll work on a list.
What's our assignment tonight, folks? Our assignment is be relentless in the follow-up. Sit down and map out the people you need to follow up with just for opportunity. Like I said, I could sit here with you on an hour. I just found another follow-up. Okay, while I'm sitting here talking to you, it's like boom, 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 boom. There's all these people that we need to follow up with. See, I met Norbert in Phoenix. I could sit there and pull that list and go back to every single person that came to Phoenix that day and follow up with them. And I guarantee we get some business. There'd be some people say, Coach, I've been so busy. Thank you so much for calling, man. I wanted to do something with you, but I got busy when I left there. Like there's so many people to just follow up with that you never know where it's going to go, right or wrong. There was a guy that came to one of my boot camps not long ago, and I'll close on this. And he was very, 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 very wealthy. Okay, his family owned like a $4 billion company, and you know, he wasn't that likable. Let's just say that. And he wasn't very friendly to people. And I don't think he really knew any better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he was trying to be rude. I think he was just raised at such a ridiculously wealthy level. I'm talking $300 million yacht, two big private jets. I think he's been in his family. It was kind of his dad's company. So his dad kind of, you know, gave him a lot of wealth. And I didn't come from wealth, folks. I didn't come from anything. Okay. Every dollar I got, I earned. Parents didn't give me anything. And so I have an aversion to that in some ways, because he may be a lot wealthier than me, but he hadn't worked for it like I have, in my opinion. So, you know, everybody was kind of offended by him. And so my staff was offended by him. Some of the other people who were there were offended by him, and because of the way he talked to people. And but he said to me, he said, you know, I'm thinking about doing something real small and intimate on our yacht with, you know, you and Sharon Lecter and Tim Story and some of these people and my dad who kind of founded the company. And listen, I don't let my feelings get in the way. Whether I like the dude or don't like the dude, if I can go get around other people who I can help, I don't get caught up in, well, I didn't like if he was rude or not rude. If I can spend time with a billionaire, I'm gonna go do it. Everybody understand? I don't get caught up in whether I like him or didn't like him or want to do business or not do business. I don't know where it could lead to. I may go there and really like him. I may like him a lot more. Who knows? Too many people listen to their feelings. And I think big time people don't get caught up in their feelings. Amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals don't. Okay. If you call that person and push them hard to get it closed and try to get them across the finish line, and they go, look, we don't want to do it. You just need to say, okay, hey, no big deal. It's your loss. Some will, some won't. So what? Okay. Some see the value, some don't see the value. All they can do is tell me no, folks. That's the way I look at it. And if they say no, there's 7 billion people on planet Earth. There is no shortage of money. There's no shortage of opportunity. This right here represents probably hundreds of thousands of dollars on a napkin. Okay, on a napkin, folks. You could sit down tonight, map out who you need to follow up with, who you need to get in the room with. All you got to do is do it. Okay, that's the only thing you got to do, is you got to have enough guts to pick up the phone tomorrow and work the muscle to do it. And that's really what I want to encourage you to do. Okay, so make the list, devote 2 hours a day to calling, monetization of a concept. Okay, and work that deal. Okay. And the next session, now, next week, Megan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to be in Las Vegas next Monday night, and my schedule is shifting to a dinner. So if possible, if you're available on Wednesday night, I'd like to move this to Wednesday night. Is that right, Megan? maybe make us 10 and tour kids. Okay, I'd like to do it because I'm going to be in Las Vegas on Monday night, and there's going to be a lot of distractions and people there, and I want to be able to give you my full attention. So if we could do this Wednesday night at 8 versus Monday night, if that's okay with everybody, I would really appreciate that. It just come up that I'm going to be in Vegas, and they schedule me for dinners and all this kind of stuff, and I don't want to. I think it wouldn't be as good of a session. So if that works for you, we will record it if you miss it. Okay, and apologize about changing it on you, but they've changed my schedule. It would be the same time. It'd be 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we do it Wednesday night, not Monday night. Okay, and like I said, I apologize about changing that. They just changed my schedule a few times. I'm going to be in Vegas doing 2 or 3 things, and I just don't want to. I don't want to shortchange you there. Okay, so yes, it'd be 12/2 Wednesday, next Wednesday night. 8 p.m. And Megan will send that out to you as a reminder. Okay. All right. Good session, guys. I got plenty to work. Thank you. You guys have helped me fill out my hit list and farm club for tomorrow. And I will be following up like crazy. So hope this has inspired you and encouraged you. I believe in you. Thank you for being part of this legendary creature. I do think you got something real special. It's just a matter of how do we take it to the okay. So thank you for letting me coach you tonight, guys. God bless you.
Awesome. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Coach.
Good night.
Thanks, Coach. Have a good night.
Thank you.